All right, so I wrote down some notes and a couple of downloads here. You guys know that I recently drove all the way down to Miami, and I was in Florida for about a week. And every time I go to Miami, I always get some strange freaking downloads every time I'm in Miami. Um, and this is what I'm getting this time. The last time I was in Miami was in 2019, and I felt a very dark energy, a dark presence around Ocean Drive near Miami Beach. And I haven't been back there since until recently. And I did have a good time when I went there, but I was picking up on something, and I kind of want to touch over this. There's something that's going on over in the next 10 to 20 years, and there's some sort of connection here with Miami and Antarctica. I keep seeing these two names lumped together lately, and I really feel like there's some kind of connection between Miami and Antarctica. So I started digging a little bit deeper and doing some research. And so this is kind of like a channeled message, a collective message for people. I don't know if I'm talking to someone who lives in South Florida or travels there or wants to get property there or get a career there or go to school there or whatever, or if you guys are just like being curious or nosy or something. I don't know if you guys live in a different, place, but this is what I'm getting. This is something to do with over the next 10 to 20 years. And I was picking up on like alien activity or Mothman type of situation where like there's going to be alien activity or alien sightings or like those Mothman type of warnings here in the recent past, in the present, or here out in the future. And as some kind of like warnings of a disaster here regarding like Miami and the Everglades. And there's some sort of connection to Antarctica here. I know they say some aliens could live in Antarctica. I don't know if that actually has something to do with it or not, but the more I researched, I think it has something to do with the climate, okay? Because Antarctica is, like slowly melting, and it is going to affect, our planet and our life. And Miami is known as ground zero, and Antarctica has a glacier that they have nicknamed Doomsday Glacier, and it can cause higher sea level to rise in Miami. Now, if this Doomsday Glacier were to collapse in Antarctica, it would definitely permanently submerge portions of Miami and the Everglades here. And this Doomsday Glacier is currently destabilizing from underneath it. Um, so, because of the warming ocean water, because of the ocean waters getting warmer, it is making this Doomsday Glacier start to destabilize. And this is a very rare, like very real possibility. Sorry, I'm getting tongue tied. We're about to enter Mercury retrograde. Can't wait for that. I'll have to do a reading on that soon. Um, but in the meantime, obviously, something this dramatic or this drastic, it's a possibility. It's a very real possibility. But in the long term, in the long run, over the next 10 to 20 years, I feel like there's going to be alien activity or this type of Mothman type of activity where they're going to be warning of disasters here, which I know there was some sort of alien activity in Miami, like a year or two, anyways. Um, but the rising sea levels, even over time, like even slowly over time in the next 10 to 20 years, it could affect different things here slowly. Like it could contaminate the freshwater wells used by certain counties, like Dade County, and I think there's another county that begins with a B. And it's like the drinking water is going to turn salty, and then that's gonna become a huge project within itself to fix, because they're going to have to move these freshwater wells into a more inland area. So water's probably going to get, high. Um, the cost of water, people's water's bills. And then here with the Everglades, I wrote down cypress trees and sawgrass will die off, and plants in freshwater marshes, because the Everglades is filled with freshwater marshes. And the more the glacier melts from Antarctica, the more fresh water gets pushed into the area. This could actually kill off the Everglades. It could really, really affect the Everglades in a very negative way, and we really need the Everglades in our ecosystem. So that's really not good. Um, Also, Miami does experience this thing called a king tide, where it starts like flooding the streets and shit like that, and they call it a king tide. These king tide floodings are going to become a weekly, maybe even a daily thing the more far out we go into the future. Shit like that's going to cause rebar to become corroded inside of like buildings or like concrete buildings. It's going to destroy underground electrical grids. The sewer lines are going to burst. Things like this is why you're going to slowly start to see surrounding neighborhoods become gentrified. You guys, it would not surprise me if you start seeing some sort of gentrification surrounding the high ground inland neighborhoods. This could possibly be like Little Haiti or Liberty City, Overtown. These insurance companies, especially the private insurance companies, they're going to be raising their premiums. There could be some insurance companies that honestly just pull out of the state of Florida or South Florida in general, where they don't even want anything to do with South Florida in the future. So I'm getting like a lot of like little warnings and big warnings here. But all of this research that I did, it all stemmed from me. I keep seeing some sort of connection between Miami and Antarctica, and somehow this connection has some sort of connection to do with alien activity or sightings around Miami and the Everglades, or some sort of like Mothman warnings or sightings. And they say that the Mothman energy is usually a warning of a disaster. I don't know if this has something to do with like the alien sightings that they saw at the Miami Mall. There is question. There's some people saying that it was like blue beam project and that it wasn't real, and then other people that were there, they swear to God it was real, and a lot of people were like asked to not um, talk about it or post about it, or have things on it or whatever. So I don't know. That's up for debate, obviously, but there could be some kind of future things going on with alien activity or sightings, or things that could come off like a Mothman type of energy here to do with Miami and Everglades. So I don't know. I keep seeing the Miami and Antarctica connection. I keep seeing those two places being bundled near each other lately, and there's obviously some kind of connection that Spirit was leading me to dive deep into, and this is what I got. And someone here needs to know this message, even if it is something to do with over the next 10 to 20 years. Someone needs to still know this message or hear this message.